Bickley and Marotta mornings. Arizona sports. The local sports leader. Bickley Blast.
The NFL preseason has long been the biggest scam in sports. It's expensive and unwatchable. It lays bare exactly what owners think of their customers and their football players. And it's further proof that greed is an insidious disease because the people who have the most money never seem to have enough. But this season feels especially bad, and that's because after their final preseason game, the Cardinals now have 13 days to fill before their Week 1 debut. Now, I'm sure Jonathan Gannon and his staff will use the time wisely, but the delay will seem interminable to football fans in the Valley because it's 2 more weeks of nothingness filled with discussions about Jerry Jones, Micah Parsons, and Shedeur Sanders. Now, eventually, our discontent will be negotiated out of existence. The NFL will cut down the preseason in exchange for an extra regular season game and the caveat that every team will play 1 game abroad and get an additional bye week, which means the NFL's greed will simply be redirected into their global efforts, which is also a dumb idea that penalizes American fans. And the NFL champion will eventually be crowned on the Sunday before President's Day, which means the Monday after the Super Bowl will eventually become a national holiday, which sounds great, right? But leveraging our fandom and our gullibility to pay for trash dressed up as football, well, that's an idea that has never seemed so gross. All right, today's Bickley Blast brought to you by my great friends at Chapman BMW, who make luxury attainable. Find them online at chapmanbmw.com.
Well done, Bick.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you.
Oh, always, it goes without saying. But
well, I appreciate that.
Look, you hit the nail on the head here on preseason football and where it stands right now. And this, even though it's only 3 games for 30 teams and 4 games for 2 teams, which is way too much preseason football, I think it might be at the worst place it's ever been in.
I agree.
In terms of participation, every team's going to have its own strategy. We talked about the strategy employed by Jonathan Gannon in year 3 changing a little bit, but we're still talking about, like, for starters, I think they played 18 snaps offensively. Mm-hmm. So 18 snaps over the course of 3 games.
Right.
The international aspect to all of this, and we're going to get into it at the end of the 8 o'clock hour on the college football front and what we witnessed over the weekend in Dublin. But this has been brewing for a really long time. Every year in April, when the schedule gets announced, there is an increase in the number of international games played. And what is it all leading to? Mm-hmm. Is this leading to look, I get the global marketing efforts. You want global dollars. You want global interest. You want to enjoy the same fruits that soccer enjoys internationally.
That the NBA enjoys.
And the NBA enjoys as well. But is this leading to a European division in NFL, which seems completely illogical to me to do this? Mm-hmm. But if the answer is no, what are we doing?
Exactly. Exactly, Vinny, because there is really no sign that there's significant growth to the point where these countries are going to get so crazy about it that they're going to have their own teams. I don't get it, but it does penalize American fans. And like I said, the idea now that we as football fans have got to twiddle our thumbs for basically 2 weeks now, that's just wrong. It just feels really foolish to me. It would seem to me that there should be some momentum behind this, that you should wrap up your preseason football and your next game should be kind of around the corner. The idea that you're playing a game, then going on hiatus for 2 weeks, then what's the point of playing the game?
Yeah, I mean, the only logical reason for the way it's set up right now, I mean, the rosters get cut down to 53. So roster cut downs are even different. There used to be a more gradual roster paring down process, and they did away with that a few years back. So it's basically one cut. You're going from 90 to 53, then constructing your practice squad with whatever, however you want to do it. But I mean, just think of the difference from a practice logistics standpoint. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's necessary to have that long, but you're going from 90 players to 53. Mm-hmm. It's a little different. in terms of reps and how you're handling it. But I don't know if you need a full 2 weeks of preparation for that.
I think the real reason is because the NFL is so greedy that they are starting the season on Thursday and Friday now.
True.
So they can't have the last preseason game be a weekend and then some teams have a short week going into the first game. So they need that extra week so that everybody starts on the same, sort of playing field.
Although it's not necessarily a normal short week. It wouldn't be a normal short week either because they don't play any preseason games on the last Sunday.
But it still would be a different amount of rest for different teams.
Yeah, I mean, there's some validity to your point, too. It's a shorter week, a shorter prep or ramp up for 4 of those teams, basically.
Yeah. And like I said at the end of the blast, and talking to some NFL people, I've heard this repeatedly, that eventually this is where the NFL is going, that the season is going to basically end 3rd week of February. And it's going to end the day before President's Day on purpose, and then everybody's going to take President's Day off. Because we always joke about how the Super Bowl should be a national. Nobody should work the day after the Super Bowl. That's going to become a reality. But we're also talking about a season now that's going to stretch further and further and further.
See, it's going to stretch further and further one direction or the other.
Yep.
I would rather almost see it start earlier.
I'm in that boat as well.
Because there's just an absence of other intriguing sports in September.
There's a fiend for it. Like when the Super Bowl and playoffs are rolling around, that's when the sports season is like peaking. Yeah. Where right now we're in a mode where all anybody can think of or want is football, whether it's college football or NFL.
Yeah.
And what we see in week 0 is one international fine game, but it's over by 11 o'clock. People want to just keep it going, and they're depriving that of us.
So to me, I take a look at this, and I think of a couple of different things. The NFL expanding its regular season to 18 games, it doesn't seem like a lot. But at some point in time, you're going to push football players beyond the breaking point, like you see in the NBA. Will you ever get to the point where load management comes to the NFL? And I bring it up because I've heard people talk about what Sean McVay and the LA Rams might be thinking with Matthew Stafford and his fragility going into the season. There are people who believe that the Rams might give him an extended break. Like, give him 3 weeks off in the middle of the season just to kind of reset.
But they might have to.
They might have to out of necessity. But if we get to that point in the NFL where dudes are like, you know what, this is just too much, I got to take this week off.
Well, I've heard people suggest, okay, if you're going to 18 games, and the Players Association is way against it, it's going to happen. It's inevitable. But does every player get a maximum of 16 games of the 18 that they play? Or 17 of the 18. Like everybody is mandated a week off. I'm not necessarily for that either.
Mm-hmm. But they would do the 2 bye weeks, I would assume, if 18 games become in place.
Definitely.
You'd have to, I think.
Yeah, listen, it's one of the things about sports, and it's why Mark Cuban criticized the NFL in the first place. The whole line about pigs get, what is it, pigs eat, hogs get slaughtered?
Pigs get fat, hogs get slaughtered.
That's what it is. Yeah. And it's because why is enough never enough? Why is growth continuing to be the number one priority over quality? At some point, isn't enough enough? Isn't the integrity of the game and the state of the game? You reach a level where it's so popular and it resonates with everybody. Why keep pushing that line?
Yeah.
Just for more revenue.
But it's not just football. I mean, if you go in any industry right now and suggest better, not bigger, you're going to get laughed at. And
you're exactly right.
Probably shown the door.
You're exactly right.
It's the whole Jerry Maguire philosophy. Fewer clients, more personal care. Look how that worked out for Jerry Maguire, Brooke. He had one client by the end of that movie.
But what a client he was.
What a client it was.
Thanks for watching Bickley and Marotta. Click to see the latest Bickley Blast and hit the button in the middle to subscribe to Arizona Sports.